Comparing to the petrol version, this one is about $6,000 more, and you do have a space saver, which is really good visual monitoring system for lane departure warnings, and simple click one button, it will memorize your settings. 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, this is Drew, welcome to the channel. This is the all-new MG HS Hybrid Plus. Today, I'll show you the vehicle, interior, exterior, and I'll let you do a POV drive to see how this vehicle like. Now, from the exterior, what is the MG HS Hybrid Plus? So it is a medium-sized SUV available in the New Zealand and Australian market. The MG HS comes with 3 different drivetrains now. It is very unique in this market, of course. First powertrain is the 1.5-litre turbo petrol ICE engine. So there's just front-wheel drive, no all-wheel drive by the way. Second one is this non-plug-in hybrid with a 1.83 kWh battery at the back and single electric motor at the front, achieved somewhere around 5 to 6 litres per 100 kilometers on the fuel consumption with help of the hybrid technology. Last one is the HS plug-in hybrid, or MG called super hybrid. That means when you fully charge the EV, it's a much bigger battery, 24.7 kWh. That means you can drive up to about 120, 130 kilometers on full charge. Today we are driving the non-plug-in hybrid, and this might be the sweet spot for many people who want a good consumption but do not want to worry about, all the charging facility. Now, what is the HS Hybrid Plus pricing in the New Zealand market? The base model starts from 44,990 plus ORC. This one is the top spec Essence. I do think this is the one to get. $4,000 more, 48,990 plus ORC. Comparing to the petrol version, this one is about $6,000 more compared to the top spec petrol, which was at 42,990. And then coming to the plug-in hybrid, comparing to the top spec, this is about 8 grand cheaper. So you actually save quite a bit if you don't want the plug-in hybrid technology. From the exterior styling, it looks identical to the petrol version, which we have gone through. The overall length of the vehicle is 4.67 meters long, and the wheelbase is over 2.76 meters long as well. The width of the car is just under 1.9 meters, so it is a medium-sized SUV. On the market, the main competitor for this vehicle with the non-plug-in hybrid technology is going to be the GWM haval H6 non-plug-in hybrid, which is a little bit cheaper in the New Zealand market compared to this one, but this one does offer a really good drive for what it is at the same time. And big shout to Soso at Winger Greenland MG. If you're looking to buy one of the MG, reach out to him. I'll have his contact details on the top. Now, over the styling, the front looks quite aggressive with the MG family grille over here. LED lights and LED daytime running is of course over here. And now you have the wheel arch in sort of glossy black finish and black panels underneath, and 19-inch alloys with two-tone finish of course on the side, black trims underneath, silver trims on the top, silver rings on the top as well. What do you think about the exterior design? Please do let me know in the comments. At the back, you get running through taillight, which is LED of course. Power tailgate is available on this Essence spec. Hybrid Plus logo just over here. More than 500 liters boot volume, and you do have a space saver, which is really good for a hybrid drivetrain. It is suitable for the New Zealand and Australian market. This is very rare on a hybrid vehicle since you got a sort of big battery at the back and taking up the spaces. To have a space saver, it is very nice for the New Zealand and Australian market, by the way. And if you do not drop the seats, 40-60 split, you're going to get more than 1,400 liters of the total volume. And that's not too bad either. Now, the second row, door opening is fairly wide, no issue at all. Sitting at the back is good amount of space. This has been set to my driving position. I'm about 178 centimeters tall. I've got huge amount of legroom and good amount of foot space. Air vents underneath, 2 Type-C charging underneath, pockets over here. Door material feels quite soft on the top and very nice material over here. Some trims over here and then plastic covers just underneath. Cup holders, which is good, still covered by the way. Sunroof on the top on this higher trim, and I do like the light color linings on the top as well. It's good space and very comfortable sitting at the back. Now let's get to the front. So electric seats available on this version, heated seats also available on this version. So let's start the vehicle. This is how the interior looks like. Very much same steering, flat bottom and flat top, cruise control functions, and some buttons over here to change your information and also your volume. Indicators on left, windscreen wiper on the right. Over here, that's the 12.3-inch screen. It's all right. It does show most of the features that you need and you want, including your fuel consumption. Speaking of the fuel consumption, this vehicle is a demonstrator car from Winger Motors, and you can see 6-liter punch case. It's not too bad at all. I would say if you just drive as a daily, you do have a little bit of traffic and also motorway driving, somewhere around 5.5 is definitely achievable for a private use vehicle. Over here, same 12.3-inch screen on the other HS. The small difference is you can now get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Both are wireless controls over here. And there are some settings under the vehicle, some settings under the settings. You can set it up. The cool feature they now added to the MG cars are the MG Pilot custom button. If you go to the vehicle, go to the MG Pilot, you can actually personalize whatever you like for speed warnings, for facial monitoring system, for lane departure warnings, and simple click one button, it will memorize your settings. So that's really cool. I do love it, and hopefully they will be engaged to all the other MG vehicles as well. You do have inbuilt navigation, you do have connectivity to MG iSmart apps. That means you can control the vehicle, see the vehicle distance from your phone. Underneath, some quick buttons about a couple aircon functions, but most of the aircons has to go through this particular screen to change most of the things. And then put on reverse, you can see the 360 camera. Not bad for quality. It's okay, it's acceptable at this price range. Air vents over here, and center console, you do get 2 Type-C chargings, 12-volt socket over here, and also cup holders over there. Piano black trims in the center, and also your gear shifter, main base parking, and auto hold function. Wireless phone charging pad available on the higher spec, small storage over here, and good amount of storage in your glove box on the side. There is no tunnels underneath in terms of storage, so your storage in the center is very much limited. Then in terms of build quality, material on the top is nice and soft. Over here, some leather paddings over here, trims over here, and plastic covers underneath. Even the paddings on the top feels quite soft. They are quite not bad actually, squeegee material. There are some orange stitchings over here, and yeah, it's not too bad at all. On the side, visibility isn't the best for the wind mirror cover, just like the standard petrol version HS. The wind mirror cover is quite large, so it actually blocks part of your view between your A-pillar and the mirror. I do wish they can cut through over here so you can see better when you go around giveaways or stop signs. At the front, it's not too bad, and on the side, it's also okay. Rear windscreen is average, so yeah, that's the visibility about this vehicle. Now let's hit the road and get it start driving. Now, first thing is about the drivetrain on this vehicle. It's powered by a 4-cylinder 1.5-liter turbocharged petrol motor. Unlike the MG ZS and MG3, that's a smaller version of the hybrid drivetrains, this is turbocharged petrol motor. That means more power. 105 kilowatts of power on the petrol motor and 230 Newton meters of torque. In terms of EV motor, which is single EV motor at the front, that produces 146 kilowatts of power, 340 Newton meters of torque. So combined, the maximum power it will be able to offer is 165 kilowatts and also 340 Newton meters of torque. The vehicle is powered by a dedicated hybrid transmission. Now, the advantage of this vehicle compared to all the other non-plug-in hybrid vehicles on the market, it's its battery. Just like the MG3 and MG ZS, the battery size is 1.83 kilowatt hour, where most of them max out at about 1.5 kilowatt hour. That just means you have way more capability to store more energy, and means it will give more energy in return. The vehicle does have different region modes. You can change it under the vehicle setting, under the driving, to get it to low, medium, or high. You can also personalize one of the start buttons to do that as well. So region braking right now is low, so it's minimal. It's not, too aggressive either, and it's fun, the low region is not too bad at all. But if you're someone who really like the high region, you can absolutely change it whenever you like. There is no one pedal driving, by the way. In terms of drive mode, you are able to change to comfort, normal, and sport. They're all okay. Comfort is probably what most people are going to live with. You should have no issue with that whatsoever. Now, under low speed, when the battery is charged, you're going to get the EV mode to kick in, and then you can shift to HEV mode. But even the vehicle right now shifts to HEV mode, it can still drive on in a serious mode. That means the petrol motor will act like a generator to charge the battery. At the meantime, try to use more battery driving or EV driving. So there's barely any hesitation and also barely any vibration when you go around the corners, when you accelerate as well. The pedal feels very nice, gentle, easy to control, very smooth among the speed when you are traveling. So pretty good, I would say. And yeah, it's easy to pick up. Suspension wise, this is a multi-link suspension setup at the back, McPherson suspension setup at the front. Again, the performance is pretty much average, but it's a good average, pickups and things. When you drive around these areas, it's easy to control. The steering feels relatively stabilized. It's not too firm, but it's also definitely not too light compared to some other Chinese competitors on the market. Let's shift it to sports mode, and again, I didn't personalize the button, so I don't know which one is the sport button. So let's slow it down to give it a little bit acceleration test. 1, 2, 3. Very easy to pick up, and the petrol motor kicks in. That'll give you a more power boost of the run. So it's easy, good acceleration, and there's definitely no shortage of power on this sort of vehicle. You do expect that when you start driving, of course. Let's turn left from here, and we have done the talking. Let's go to a higher speed one and see how it goes. Acceleration and yeah, at handling on the corner is still not too bad. Again, you won't complain about that. Very small body roll here and there, but it's well controlled, well maintained. Now on this surface over here, the road seal is quite rough. You're going to pick up much noisy cabin compared to a flat surface on the motorway. That's just giving you a show of how the vehicle's damping and suspension works on this rough road. Yes, it's on the firm side compared to some other vehicles, but it's not, badly firm. That just means when you are going through a bump, it settles quite well after the first bump on the second travel. So it's, yeah, not bad system, I would say. Now again, the handling is alright. It's not super sporty, but it goes okay. Kind of, it does, listen to you. It does go to the way of your point as well. So not a bad steering response and feedback. You're able to change that to comfort and also to sport, by the way. So let's see, a bit of acceleration over here since there's nobody behind me. 1, 2, 3. Good acceleration and good pickup. There's just no shortage of power. Is it fast compared to some other PHEV I've been driven over the last few weeks? No, it's definitely not that fast, but it's smooth. It's got a good amount of pickup, and if you compare this to any hybrid vehicles, non-plug-in hybrid on the market with some sort of similar price range, this is adequate for its power delivery. And even under on the motorway driving, it's still very smooth. The response on the pedal is good. It's not short in some ways. Let's go back to the normal mode. By the way, you can adjust these two buttons to change your driving mode instead of going through the screen like me. So that's okay. And driving on the motorway, it's comfy again. It's easy to control. The steering is very nice weight over here. It's quite solid on the steering. The chassis does not feel wobbly at all, and it's still comfy. There's a little bit tire noise, there's a little bit under chassis noise, and there's definitely quite a good amount of wind noise today. But overall, it's adequate, and all the drivings are adequate as well. I feel like most things that this car gives you is quite general or generic. It does have a unique look on the market. It does have the MG family design overall. It does have a good amount of space, and the interior isn't super plush, but at the same time it works. It's still good, quality compared to some other competitors. The screen itself, again, it's average on the market, not super flashy, and it does not do super fancy things with the screen, but it's also got most of the features covered on the screen. Same as the driving. The driving isn't gonna surprise you when you start looking at this vehicle, but at the same time it does most of the job easily. And you're not gonna complain about the driving if you are being set into a rental car like this. You'll be okay with what it is like on the road. Either it's a country road surface or either it's a city run around. So that's my verdict on the MG HS Hybrid Plus. In the future, we're also going to test drive the plug-in hybrid MG HS to see how that's like. Please let me know what you think in the comment section about the new MG HS Hybrid Plus. Is this the sweet spot on the MG HS lineup? And also, is this the best value hybrid vehicle on the market as well? If you like my video, the best way to support the channel is to subscribe and like. As always, I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.